Is that the only? Family scenes at the station. Okay. I just found out I'm going up there. I don't know what the order of it is. I'll be fine.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen,
Oh.
and welcome. I am Master Sergeant Retired Bill Franklin, your narrator for today's event. Today, the men and women of the 381st Intelligence Squadron pay special tribute to Master Sergeant Jamie J. Rice on the occasion of his retirement from the United States Air Force after exactly 21 years of service. The presiding official for today's ceremony is Lieutenant Colonel Lorinda M. Risden, Commander, 381st Intelligence Squadron, here at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, Alaska. The military retirement ceremony is one of the oldest traditions in the military, which honors its service members and their families as they culminate a distinguished career serving their country. The formal retirement ceremony is designed to leave our retirees and their families with a tangible expression of appreciation for their contributions to the Air Force and its mission, as well as our assurance that they will continue to be members of our Air Force family. Throughout the ceremony, you'll be given cues to rise and be seated at the appropriate times. As a reminder, during the singing of our national anthem, military members should stand at attention, and our civilian guests should stand and place their right hand over their heart. At this time, please place all cell phones on silent mode for the duration of the ceremony. We will begin shortly. And by shortly, I mean now. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of the colors of the Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson Honor Guard and the singing of our national anthem by the honoree's mother, Anne, sister Dina, and brother, Mike.
Present the colors.
Cut! Take cut! Right there! Cut! 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 Word! Cut! Cut! Halt! Present! Halt!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, though once bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right there! Halt! Colors! Colors, sir! Halt!
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Well, they're gone, but I'd like to thank publicly the base Elmendorf Richardson Honor Bearer for that very professional presentation. And I'd also like to thank the family and Ina, Mike, for that heartfelt rendition of our national anthem. I volunteer and narrate often, and I've never seen the family do that, and it was very wonderful. He will remember it the rest of his life. Before we begin, we'd like to extend a special welcome to Sergeant Rice's family members who are with us today. His son, Noah. His son, Jonah. His son, Elijah. His mother, Ann. His father, Mike. His sister, Dina, and brother-in-law, George. His brother, Mike, and niece, Dylan. We'd also like to welcome Sergeant Rice's longtime friend and mentor, Master Sergeant Retired Marcelo Rivera. I guess they want the microphone for the stream.
Check, check. Joining us online via Twitch is Sergeant Rice's best friend, Charlie. Okay, I'm holding my mic, someone else needs to read me a call. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd also like to recognize and welcome the Commander, National Security Agency Alaska, and 373rd Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Group, Colonel Laura Terry. Last but not least, welcome to all commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, and other members of Team Elmendorf Richardson, especially the men and women of the 381st Intelligence Squadron and National Security Agency Alaska. Thank you for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome today's presiding official, Colonel Resident.
Don't worry, I was never not using this microphone. I know what's good. Good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to see everyone here today. Up front, I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to the team that put this together, wrangled by Sergeant Link. I know this is a ton of effort and work to do so, so thank you for that. And then also to Anna, Dina, and Mike for singing that national anthem. You guys crushed it. I know you're nervous, but you guys did great. Thank you to Bill, who just ran away, but he is narrating his 73rd Air Force retirement ceremony today. And also he met Jamie yesterday, so it's a pretty awesome story.
True.
But also he has a ton of experience, and we appreciate your guidance as we got ready for this, so thank you for that.
That's fantastic.
And thank you to Jamie. Well, first of all, for your 21 years of service, and also for entrusting me to officiate your ceremony today. I will try not to screw it up. Even though you said I can't, but I could. It's really amazing to look around this room and see Jamie's family here today, his sons Noah, Jonah, and Elijah. Your dad is pretty amazing, and I just love that you're here to celebrate with him today. Mike and Ann, it's been a pleasure to meet you guys. You've raised an amazing son and leader, which I think you know, and I'm happy that you guys were able to be here with him today to celebrate with Jamie. And welcome to Jamie's siblings, his sister Dina and Mike, and her husband George, and his brother Mike, and Jamie's niece Dylan. It's just really a great opportunity for everyone to get together, and this is a huge deal for Jamie, so I'm glad you guys are here. And finally, to all of the friends and family, mentors, and colleagues that are here in person and dialed in virtually, I'm glad you guys can join us. Sergeant Rice. Jamie, this is a huge deal. You made it, and you should be so proud. I've really only had the privilege to know you a short time, but it does not take very long to realize what an amazing leader, airman, and human being that you are, and the incredible legacy that you're leaving behind as you retire today. I want to share with all of you guys just a little bit of what has made Jamie's career and legacy so successful, And Jamie, this is probably your worst nightmare because it's going to be all about you today. But it's so important to be able to take time to recognize the massive scope of impact that you have had in your distinguished military career. The people in this room some of them have traveled across the world to be here to celebrate with you today and the influence that you've had over the last 21 years. I'll hit the highlights of your career, but what I really want to focus on is not what you did, but how you impacted, mentored, coached, and led our next generation of leaders. So how did you get here? 21 years in the Air Force, retiring today. In 2004, Jamie enlisted in the Air Force from Clawson, Michigan. He left his family and friends that are now 3,952 miles away to embark on this great adventure. He started out, as most of us do, at basic training in Lackland Air Force Base in Texas. And then, because you have such a special skill set, you had to go to like 16 more trainings. So then you went to DLI in Northern California to learn Russian, and then you briefly visited Goodfellow Air Force Base. And then finally, after all of that, you got to get to your first real operational assignment at Fort Meade in Maryland, where you spent 5 years. This was a really critical time in Jamie's career. He got to do some really great linguist things, honing his craft and getting smart on all of the different skills and tools that we get to use every day. I'm not going to bore you with the details. Also, the cool ones are classified, sorry. But also at Fort Meade, he was on the base honor guard. And that is really where he started to learn some of those critical leadership lessons. And he got to meet his friend and mentor to this day, Marcella, who's here in person with us. At Meade, Jamie also got to supervise his very first troop, and he learned what being a leader really meant. We'll talk about that later. Jamie also got the opportunity to deploy to Baghdad, supporting Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2010. He made a critical difference, identifying and uncovering enemy networks, specifically exploiting electronic devices of an enemy that was targeting the base that he and his team were living at. In his EPB, it says, dismantled the team. That's a really nice way of saying we made them go away. From Maryland, after that, Jamie headed out to Germany, which, in his words, and in the word of some of his previous colleagues and supervisors, was a dark time. That assignment was very busy and tough as he served at Distributed Ground Site, or DGS-4, which is really just a fancy intel way of saying it was an intelligence hub. But he continued to grow as a leader, and he promoted to tech sergeant. Living in Germany and in Europe is not all bad, and you got to be there for 3 years. And especially it wasn't so bad because Jamie's first two sons, Noah and Jonah, joined the team while Jamie was stationed in Germany. After Germany, Jamie comes back to the States. He heads to Langley Air Force Base in Virginia for 3 years. He pins on Master Sergeant while he's there, and he continues across that linguist job. He also gets to expand his scope of responsibility. He serves on the wing staff, which is like two layers higher than us, as a command language program manager. Basically, that just means he advised the wing leadership on all the language and linguist issues, and he wrangled over 400 linguists to do the training on time and go to the right place at the right time. From Virginia, then Jamie heads to his last assignment here in Alaska. Within weeks, his third son Elijah is born here, which makes him a true Alaska native. Jamie has been here in Alaska, at NSA Alaska, for over 8 years. And you've really done it all here. You've been a watch officer, a flight chief, you managed a team of 36 airmen, you were an SCL, a senior enlisted leader, to an entire team of not just airmen, but civilian and military analysts. You name it, Jamie, you did it here. In asking Jamie, Noah, Jonah, and Elijah what their favorite assignment was, they all said that it's been here in Alaska. Granted, 3 of them only remember living in Alaska and nowhere else, but that's not really the point. The point is that Jamie has had an outstanding record and career, and his impacts have been far and wide. You are massively respected across your peers and in the entire intelligence community. To prepare for today, I asked Jamie what he was most proud of from his time in the Air Force. Shockingly, he did not give me a lot to go on. He said like maybe 2 things. So I reached out to a whole bunch of his airmen. Some of the names you gave me, and some of them you did not, because I wanted their side of the story, and we're all intel people here, so we use the network. We're gonna find out what we need to know. Hearing from Jamie was great, but it was so much better getting to hear from them. The airmen, NCOs, senior NCOs, and civilians and officers that you've impacted throughout your career had a lot of amazing things to say about you, and some themes quickly came to light. It's also pretty crazy how people tend to use the same words to describe someone, no matter where you knew Jamie from. The 3 themes really, truly describe the legacy that he leaves. Jamie is a technical expert. Jamie puts his people first, and he is a leader. Jamie, you are unequivocally a mission expert. Your varied assignments in Fort Meade, Germany, Virginia, and here provided a depth and breadth of experiences that you needed to become an expert in the intelligence career field. Your sustained performance, your attention to detail, and passion for continued learning is contagious. Those are my words, and here's what some much more smarter people than me had to say about you. Mr. Tim Reardon, who is one of our senior analysts here at NSA Alaska, told me that to him, Jamie is an outstanding analytic mind and linguist and technical expertise rarely found in any of his peers. Senior Master Sergeant Jake Sickish, a fellow linguist, said that Jamie is someone that he looks up to as a linguist. He is a leader that is passionate about his tradecraft. Sergeant West said that you're knowledgeable in literally everything. That's a bold but pretty true statement, not gonna lie. But he also went on to say that you're knowledgeable in things that you also wouldn't expect that you'd be knowledgeable in, and that you have made a truly singular impact on our mission here. Amanda Owens, another one of our NSA mission experts, said that Jamie is an excellent resource for technical and engineering expertise for his colleagues and is a natural teacher. He never shies away from an opportunity to teach or learn from his fellow colleagues. And Hannah Robbins, who hopefully is dialed in today, told me that he's not just one of the smartest people that she knows, he's an expert when it comes to explaining very complex ideas, and he always has a way of breaking stuff down so you can understand it. And Staff Sergeant Gwynn said basically the same thing. He said that you're knowledgeable and you're caring and you have a unique ability to talk and teach to whatever level is necessary in the audience that you're speaking to. That unique ability has also made you an outstanding briefer. And you are a briefer. One of your most unofficial official roles here for the last several years at NSA Alaska has been our go-to site briefer. As a site mission briefer, Jamie is an ambassador to almost every visitor that we host, and we host a lot of visitors. People want to come to Alaska, and they get to hear our story from you. You have briefed hundreds of visitors. Yes, I counted. There was no exact number. It's clearly over 400. And some of them are pretty important people, whether it's the commander of Air Combat Command, a 4-star general, various foreign dignitaries, congressmen, senators, just to name some of the few people that Jamie's had the honor of briefing. He's trusted to serve as the face of our site and team, and he very passionately articulates our story. Hannah described Jamie as always up for speaking to an audience at a moment's notice, and mentioned the many times that he's bailed her out at a moment's notice to go give a briefing. And Anne, he said that he got all of these skills from you, so thank you for teaching him so well. So how did he get so versed on our mission? In addition to the genetics and his 8 years here in Alaska, Jamie also served extensive time as a watch officer. I'm going to basically summarize being a watch officer as our team's first and front line of defense, 24/7, 365, for anything and everything, mission or building or otherwise related. You're the adultiest adult that's in charge of managing the chaos. It's shift work, it's long hours, it's a lot of strange days on and off, and you were responsible for a lot. But you always knew what to do, and whether it was an earthquake, and you've been here for several, or the building is literally on fire, you knew exactly what to do, and you did it calmly, professionally, and fast. And yes, the building, or at least the fence, literally caught on fire while Jamie was away. I think your former flight commander, Captain Richie Besserell, summed it up well. To analyst, Jamie is the epitome of a SME, a subject matter expert, and he's a dedicated teacher that doesn't hoard knowledge, but willingly shares all that he knows. And sharing what he knows is what Jamie does. That leads me to the second characteristic that is the legacy of Jamie Rice, and that is that you put people first. You guys, so many people said that I talked to about Jamie said, specifically, he puts people first, in some way or another. That's not a phrase that just rolls off the tongue, so you know that it must really stand out as a characteristic for people to keep using it. People from all different assignments. Second of all, it honestly describes you to a T. You take care of your airmen. Being people first means that you build connection and you care personally with your team members. You are able to take care of, or to be able to take care of someone, you have to know who they really are. You have this trait in spades. You're not afraid to ask them questions. You're not afraid of some awkward silence, and you will go to bat for your team every single time. Captain McCarthy, his former supervisor and flight commander, said that Jamie's troops would literally run through a brick wall for him. If Jamie had a flaw, it would be his willingness to put his own needs aside to take care of his people. Scott Robbins told me that Jamie's time in the Air Force has left a positive imprint on each and every person that he has encountered. And Master Sergeant Holly Rose said that Sergeant Rice has proven time and again how passionate he is for taking care of his airmen. He's someone you can always count on. Chief Edwards told me that Jamie cares tremendously about the mission and his airmen, and that is what makes him a great senior NCO, airman, and human. Sergeant Lavasher told me that Jamie has an unwavering dedication to his colleagues and friends. He's a true friend and confidant, always willing to lend an ear, offer advice, and consistently puts the needs of others before his own. And Charlie Lovett, who's dialed in today, said that what truly stood out to him most about you, Jamie, was that you always stood up for your people, and you were a good sounding board and mentor to those around you. Finally, Sergeant Mullen said that Sergeant Rice really listens and is intentional and sincere. He's a mentor that he wishes he would have met so much earlier in his career. Jamie, you told me how impactful your mentors have been on your career, and it is clear to me that you internalized that and paid it forward to our next generation of airmen. As a brand new staff sergeant at Fort Meade, Jamie was assigned his very first troop, who promptly failed his PT test the next day. You found yourself a mentor, though, that was going to help you out and helped you grow and coached you through that scenario. And it was Marcelo, who's here today, that did that for you. It was him who challenged you to not just give out paperwork, but get to know your airman and help grow him. It was through 6 weeks of PT several times a week with that airman that he then passed his next PT test, and you learned an invaluable lesson. And you paid those lessons forward. Caring for people is not easy, it is hard, but it is worth it. Because by caring directly and clearly, you are growing future leaders. And I truly wish you could see how your airmen light up when they talk about you. They literally lined up at my door to tell me how much they respect and appreciate you. They know how much you care, and it's something that they value so much. They trust your leadership, and that's the last theme of your legacy that I want to hit on today. Jamie, you're without doubt a leader. Every single person, I'm not exaggerating, that I talked to about you mentioned your outstanding leadership. It is a unique blend of your airmanship, your care and passion for our airmen, and your technical expertise. Your airmen want to be just like you. They are literally wearing blues and service dress for you. Sergeant Fleury told me that she learned something new from you every day, and that Sergeant Rice, supervisor, she wants to emulate the most. Sergeant Collins told me that Master Sergeant Rice leads by example, and he is transparent. He does the right thing, and his people see that. Sergeant Mullen said that you're a strong leader who knows what and how to communicate, and you are an understanding leader who helps airmen grow and learn. But it's not just the airmen that you lead. Your peers trust you. He is someone that I can always count on. I would quote this, but 7 different senior NCOs told me that about you. Sergeant Evans also added that you're a consummate airman and wingman. And your officers and leaders learn from you as a trusted advisor. And I know, mentoring officers is not always easy.